part of my life.
Just cuts the cooking time in half.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cook it in plastic?
Makes it like a,
You
like
just
a
like,
confection.
okay,
I'm gonna work on the video.
Brad is in the Zoom.
Hey, Brad.
Hi, Brad.
Don't let that person in.
I won't. I'm working on it.
We're working on the camera thing.
Working on the camera. Here we go.
Great, camera.
There we go.
Awesome. That is my head. Okay.
Yep.
So, we're all here together this evening. It's Monday, December 1st, 2025, 6 p.m. at Cole Hall. Calling to order this meeting of Shaftsbury's Select Board. Before we move into the agenda, does anybody have a conflict of interest with anything
No.
discussed this evening?
No.
No? Okay. Hearing nothing, I'm going to move along to reviewing minutes. So we have outstanding minutes for our October 20th meeting as well as our 11/3 meeting, November 3rd meeting. Does anybody have any, after taking a look over the past few weeks, does anybody have any amendments to make to these meetings?
No, I wasn't there for one.
All right.
I think October one?
It looks like you were present for November and not for October.
Right.
Okay. So let's start with October, at which I was present, Naomi was present, Mike was present. So just the three of us. So I'd like to call for a motion to approve the minutes for the
So
October
moved.
20th. Okay.
Second?
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
And then we've got 2 abstentions. I'm gonna sign it. Okay, so now we'll move along to our November 3rd minutes. Present at that meeting. I was present, Naomi was present, Tony was present, and Mike was present. So we've got 1 abstention from Brad on this one. So I would like to call for a motion to approve the meeting minutes for the November 3rd, 2025 meeting of the Select Board.
So moved.
And second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So that's that one. All right, so moving right along, we are on item 4, which is announcements and updates. Does anybody have?
I do.
All right.
Next Monday, there's a special select board meeting during which Dufresne Group will present the 60% report for the sewer feasibility study for Outback. Also, the wiring is in progress for the new building. Walls will go up next, and mudding and painting, and then the floors. So moving right along.
Awesome.
Now also, the holiday tractor parade was a huge success.
Yay!
It sure was.
Huge success.
Yeah, that was
So
incredible.
thank you, Art and Charlie.
Yeah, quite a turnout.
He wants to talk about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, come on over.
Yeah.
I was just totally blown away. First of all, we knew we were going to get a little bit more than 14. That's the number of people that said they were going to respond, but there were 30 floats, 3 fire trucks, and a sheriff's.
Wow.
So, but
Yeah.
again, it just was totally amazing that
Yeah.
the number of people that turned out on the 4 corners and every place. So, really, thank you so much. And obviously, we'd like to do it again. I think you could make this a community thing. I mean, the
Sure.
food trucks and all, but it's gonna take more than just the two of us. It's gonna have to be a whole committee. We can't start in December.
No.
So,
That's right.
No.
Yes, that was quite the effort from you gentlemen to get that handled.
Cheryl and
with it.
Gina did a huge, thank you so much, Gina, for.
Thank you, Gina,
She-
Charlie, and Art.
Cheryl was absolutely amazing, so we just wanted to thank everybody for for the extra effort that everybody put into it.
Yeah.
Okay?
That's great.
Yeah, it was incredible. I was so surprised
So
when
fun.
they just kept
Yeah.
coming.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, there's more,
Well,
okay.
at 5 o'clock, I was beginning to wonder
It
if we
was-
were gonna get anything.
it was-
And then all of a sudden, it was like that.
At 20 after 5, he said, is it just gonna be us, he said? And then all of a sudden, they just started rolling in, so.
It's the ideal scenario, yeah. I was thinking as I drove in, looking at how many people were parked at Pollen and across the street and then on the Four Corners, and then imagining how many people were outside on Cleveland, and I was like, this is well over 100 people. I would say several hundred.
Oh, yes.
Several hundreds, yes.
Yeah, so that was really something. I was so glad to see it.
But,
It
yeah,
was
we need
fun.
to thank Daley's, because
Yes.
we even filled that yard up, so.
Yeah, that was full. And I did apologize to Collins because you couldn't even get to the pumps. When I went by, there was so many people in front of it.
Wow,
So, okay.
It's very creative, very
that's
So
creative.
good.
Yeah.
so wonderful.
But I know-
Should we distribute
Gina will
these?
take these.
Just sign it.
Oh, yep, I did.
You did. So
I'll
then
take
it
those
goes
again.
to
Oh,
Charlie.
Me and Art have to sign yet.
Okay, gotcha.
Go first, Art.
Any other announcements or updates at this time?
Nope.
No. Okay. Moving on to my favorite part of the meeting, which is warrants.
Mhm.
Okay.
These are the bills.
Bills. All right, I would like to call for a motion to consider check warrant report 26013 in the amount of $96,553.38.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, so let's go through items that are over $1,000. Aflac Trading and Direct, $1,557.08. There are two charges for that amount, both to Aflac, two separate invoices.
Employee supplemental insurance for 2 months.
Bennington County Sheriff's Department, $10,100.
November fee for the sheriff's department.
Big Boys Toys, $2,999.
Tires for truck number 5, DPW.
Casella Waste System, $9,032.34.
Trash pickup from the transfer station.
Four States Enterprise, $1,679.95.
Transfer station tire removal.
Green Mountain Power, $1,039.15, and that's for invoice that starts with 802.
That is South Shaftsbury Village Electrical.
Uh-huh.
Street.
Hayes Pump, which is $1,975.
That's the water department pump evaluation and repair.
Hewlett Electric and Father, and Hewlett Electric and
Thank you.
Father, $2,864.76 and $3,951.46.
That's the electrical work on the new building.
And that will be paid for out of the building fund,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
Or that was paid out of that fund, great.
Yep.
Okay, Maple Grove Lawn and Snow, $1,169.77.
DPW plow parts.
Raymond James, Perpetual Fund Catch-Up, 2019 to 2025, Perpetual Fund Catch-Up, $36,657.50.
That's a fund transfer to the Cemetery Perpetual Trust from the treasurer to the trustees of public funds.
Okay, and it was sort of like overdue a little bit, it looks like.
Yep, a couple of years worth and made the transfer.
Okay, got it. Southworth Milton Incorporated, which was paid for by a grant, which was $5,666.66.
That was machine rental from that culvert project, a leftover bill, and it was paid for by grant, as you say.
Got it, okay. Sycamore Landscaping, two invoices, one in the amount of $3,208 and one in the amount of $1,600.
The 3,200 one is the cemetery, and the other is parks and offices for mowing.
All right. VRS Sales Limited, $4,308.03.
That is fire truck maintenance,
All right.
fire department.
Call for a motion to approve this check warrant?
No, you have to vote.
No, we
Oh, I'm
already.
sorry.
got- it's on
Let's
the-
vote to approve this check warrant. Every time, I swear.
Yeah.
It's
all right.
nonsensical.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. And Brad, should we have him come by to sign this, or what's generally the protocol?
I think we only need 3 people to sign it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But he voted to approve it.
Yes.
Perfect. Oh, and we have more. Okay, ready?
So it's the motion to consider, and then we vote. Every time, I just like sort
Yeah,
of
the motion to consider puts it
add a place
out for
voting.
discussion.
Yeah.
You ready for the other warrants?
I
There's
am.
like 8,000 of them.
I can't wait.
This is for the fiscal year 25-26 education taxes. So it's what we collect and
Oh,
then
my
go,
goodness.
it goes off to the schools now.
Okay. So this is check warrant report number TX25, which is the fiscal year 25-26 education taxes. So this is what's collected when people are charged their property taxes. This is the portion of that is the
We get all
state
the taxes
education
and then we
tax,
have to
and then
send
it
it to
comes
the
to,
school.
okay,
Yeah.
just to be clear. Okay, in the amount of $4,641,272.86. Okay.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Well, we're voting on it.
Right?
But we already-
Aye.
Okay.
These are 2025 property tax overpayments.
Okay. I'd like to call for a motion to consider check warrant report RF25, which is the 2025 property tax overpayments.
So moved.
So what is this? Like, where does this money go?
Where does it go, or where does it come from?
I can explain that during
Yeah.
my part if you want.
Yes, I do want to. Thank
Okay,
you.
good. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, this is the month-end payroll withholding. The employer expense is only 8,200. The rest comes out of our paychecks.
Okay, and here's
you.
the minutes.
Thank you.
Call for a motion to consider check warrant report PRW05 in the amount of $22,939.71.
So moved.
Second.
And please consider that of that 22K, almost 23K, that the expense of the town itself
Thank you.
is $8,204.09. The rest of that is directly deducted from employees' paychecks. All in favor of approving?
Aye.
These are community appropriations for fiscal year 25. This is the time of year we pay them out.
Okay, so we're paying out the ones that were voted upon and passed last year
Yes.
at town meeting, or not at town meeting, but on voting day.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'd like to call for a motion to consider check warrant report 26014.
So moved.
Second.
And this is the appropriations. It's in the amount of $39,350. All in favor of approving paying out these voted upon appropriations?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. And then this last one, you and Naomi already signed the WIP bond payments for each year that are budgeted. It's the first water revolving fund loan we had from 2009.
Okay. Check warrant report, I'd like to call for a motion to consider check warrant report 26012 in the amount of $14,060.60.
So moved.
Second.
Second. Oh.
All in favor of approval?
Aye.
Are there more?
No.
That's great.
Looks like you've already signed it.
Yeah, because it had to be paid or something. Okay, so we're on item 6, which is public comments.
Oh, wait a minute, back up.
Oops, I'm sorry.
You did this last payroll that everyone else used to sign it, that was last
This
time.
is, do we need to vote on this?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I'd like to call for a motion to consider check warrant report PR 11, which is in the amount of $21,496.61. It's a payroll warrant.
So, second.
All in favor of approval?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Now we're on item 6, which is public comments. Hearing none, we'll move to the treasurer's report.
Okay, hello, everybody.
Hello.
So first I'll explain what's going on with those refunds. They filed a homestead declaration late and did not inform their escrow company that they were in danger of withholding the wrong amount, or paying the wrong amount based on the original bill that they got, not on the secondary bill. So when people file a homestead declaration late, they get a new bill that's for less, and I enclose a letter saying you've got to tell your bank or they're going to pay too much and you're going to get penalized later on. And they ignore it, and then the bank pays the wrong amount, and then they get a refund.
Yeah.
They need to give that refund to the bank, or, anyway, it's just a cascade that happens as a result of late filing a homestead declaration in many, many cases. In 2 cases this year, people just paid last year's amount. I don't know why. And because taxes went down a little bit, that resulted in refunds for them. So there are lots of reasons, but the bottom line is that for anybody who overpays, we write them checks in December. For anybody who underpays, that is a delinquent warrant that goes to Holly, and that also happened this week. So
Okay.
this is all of the sort of cleaning up after tax collection. These are the things that have to happen. We need to refund money, and we need to send the delinquent list over to Holly. The delinquent warrant came to, as it does every year, almost exactly the same as last year. We did so much extra this year to get everybody to pay, but it ends up being almost exactly the same every year. It's just, there's the amount it's going to be, and it was that amount again. So it was not a shock in either direction. So that's what's going on with that.
Okay.
Other things that have to happen this time of year, we do the refunds, we do the community appropriations, and we do the voter-approved transfers to reserve. So that's going to be stuff that you'll see in December. I think you just did the community appropriations, right? Okay, good.
Yep.
So we're on top of that. Those are things that have to, oh, and the school taxes, so you
Right.
saw those too. So we could take a quick look at this cash
I'm
flow.
just going to turn this so that
Oh.
the camera over there can also get it.
November is obviously about tax receipts. You see that very large number there under receipts. And then you could see also under the disbursements, the AP is very, very big. That's because of those 2 big checks you just approved. So that's going to give you a better sense of what's going on with our cash situation if we go to the bottom half of that. That's not exactly a perfect snapshot for various reasons, but once we get all of the checks that you just approved in there, and we'll have a much better idea. I didn't give you the month close numbers versus budget this time because there are too many things that have to happen to November before that's really ready for you to look at and start considering. I will have that for next time. It's just basically a bunch of, because of this meeting happening on the first of the month, there's some things that still have to happen that need to be tweaked. Sure. But is any questions about any of that?
No.
Okay, you can see the water receipts. We've been talking about those. That is pre the water bills going out. So that number is going to go way, way, way up in December because the water bills are out there now and they will be due right after Christmas. Sorry, everybody. But they're in the mail now. That's the other thing that Tiffany I have been busy with. It's been a busy couple of weeks. Any questions about any of that or anything else treasure related?
It's really great about the water bills
Yeah.
coming in.
Yeah, I think that we've
Maxed
pretty
out.
pretty much maxed out, and it's certainly below where it was. It's not where we want it to be, and it's not moving all that much. But it's Tiffany has done yeoman's work, and we're getting to the point where it's a lot of these things are going to have to go to, either tax sale or the threat of tax sale. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so that was the treasurer's report. Item 8 is the DPW report. Paula, do you have that?
I don't have an official one, but I know they're getting ready to plow snow.
They are.
We're getting snow.
What a
Yeah, they've been getting the
surprise.
trucks ready. You can see from the bills and the plow parts and all that.
Okay, great. So item 9 was with regards to a request for community appropriation from Laura Jarrett, but she is unable to join us this evening. She's going to join us at the next meeting of the select board to talk about that. She's from Turning Point. So now we're going to move on to item number 10, which is the review of the PFAS letter to the state. So how we'll handle this is Paula's just, I think, going to go ahead and read the letter.
Yeah, and put it into a little bit of context first. I held a meeting with the residents affected by the PFAS contaminated wells in September, October, I don't even remember when that meeting was, September. And they had requested that I write a letter on behalf of the select board and the residents to Governor Phil Scott and saying, hey, we got blown off here, to vernacular. And we would like the same attention that the town of Bennington got. And the things and the testing and, they're running out of money and things, so we need to be a little loud.
Yeah.
So I wrote a letter. I can share it as well because I have it.
Right.
Here it is. Okay. And I'll just read it, so we'll have it verbally. Okay, dear Governor Scott, as Town Administrator of Shaftsbury, Vermont, I write to you on behalf of our Select Board and residents regarding the ongoing and serious presence of per- and polyfluoroalkyl substances, PFAS, including PFOA, in our soil and private water wells. Our community remains deeply concerned about the long-term health implications of exposure of these forever chemicals which persist in the environment and bioaccumulate in the human body. While remediation efforts and monitoring of water sources are critical, they do not address the immediate health concerns of residents who may have already been exposed. Many families, including children and seniors, live with the uncertainty of not knowing whether or to what extent PFAS contamination has entered their bodies. This lack of information creates both physical anxiety and barriers to making informed medical decisions. Therefore, let me scroll up. We respectfully request that the state of Vermont establish a fund a program of medical monitoring through blood testing for PFAS compounds for residents or affected communities. Such a program would provide residents with clear and reliable information regarding their personal exposure levels, support the medical community in tracking and addressing potential long-term health impacts, demonstrate the state's commitment to public health, environmental justice, and transparency, serve as foundation for future research and policy decisions concerning PFAS regulation and cleanup. Our town is working collaboratively with the Vermont Department of Health, the Agency of Natural Resources, and your office to ensure that this monitoring is conducted responsibly, equitably, and with appropriate privacy protections. Governor Scott, our residents deserve peace of mind and access to the resources necessary to safeguard their health. We urge you to act swiftly and decisively by initiating statewide medical monitoring for those impacted by PFAS contamination. Thank you for your leadership and attention to this urgent matter. We look forward to response and working together to protect the health of Vermonters. And as I'm reading this, I'm realizing this is the draft of the letter because the other copy of the letter has the things about the town of Bennington, which Dave Durfee already gave me the feedback on. So, this is the wrong version of the letter, I'm so sorry. But I will post the letter, I can post the actual letter on the website so that residents can see it. And you guys can look at it, I'll email it to you, because the residents are gonna come sign it, and the select board needs to sign it. So what we'll be asking for is, David Silver was the attorney who helped the Bennington residents. So we're looking for funding. We're looking for, the state's PFAS level has always been 20 parts per trillion, but now there's some movement to get it down to match the EPA's level of 4 parts per trillion, which will open up a whole bunch of, hopefully funding. But to my knowledge, the state's running out of money, so we have to do something. But sorry about the letter. I had read 2 really good ones, but I'm like, oh, this isn't the Bennington one.
So we can, the select board can sign it next Monday at our special meeting.
Yep, we can do that, and then I'll open it up for the residents and invite them up. Pete here is one of them who's been doing a lot of work.
How long, excuse me, how long will it be here for the residents to sign it?
How long do you think we would need? Maybe like a week? Leave it out
I
at the
would-
table here?
I think maybe through Christmas anyway.
But that's a good idea. Okay.
Maybe
Give it-
holidays and
Yep,
stress and everything else.
That's a good idea.
that's a good
But the
idea.
funding part of it and forever testing, forever maintenance for forever chemicals.
Mm-hmm.
It's the filtration system that the state won't, no paperwork involved. Here's your filtration system. Take care. They'll take care of it, and they say forever, but it's not forever. Who knows? If they're running out of money now for new testing, and there's dozens, hundreds of people probably that need testing in Shaftsbury and Bennington. I would say at least 100, maybe more. Talking to the people up East Road all the way to Glastonbury, very concerned. People talk to us like, well, my dog died of cancer, my husband has this, the amazing amount of diseases and things that are going on. Kind of scary, very scary actually. It's permanent.
Right,
It's not something that's going away.
right.
It affects the town as far as new structures, new housing. Do you have to do test wells first? In a lot of areas that don't have, town water.
That's right.
Especially where you live, Paula. My God, there's one house there that doesn't have it.
I know,
And all of your full
It's
area,
amazing.
one house, and one woman
Yeah.
that didn't know anything about it.
right.
It's never
You say
been-
you've knocked on 60 doors?
I was 63,
63?
counting me,
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
yeah, so far. And we're gonna knock on some more and get the word out. And I'm surprised I'm the only one here, to be honest with you.
Okay,
I really am. But I'm gonna keep doing it, my wife too, but she doesn't feel good, so she's home.
that's okay.
But
Sorry,
out
she
in
said.
your area of town, there's no town water out your way.
No, not on the West End, but I don't know if anybody has any, Tony, I don't know of anybody that's
No, it's been
tested.
tested, no.
Yeah,
And
that's
we
the
would
thing.
be-
It's-
I would think that we would be getting it.
I think we really have to keep in mind that originally it was thought to be spreading through the ground,
Yeah.
but now they're realizing that it spread originally through the air.
Yeah, it was the
And so the further, it seems to be appearing further and
Yes.
further from the original site, and that makes sense because
Yeah.
it probably didn't land as intensely further away. So we got to expect it to just circle through the entire region. I live on the northeast side of town, and I had my well tested, and a neighbor had his well tested down the hill. We're just north of Glastonbury Road. And we both came back negative. I mean, entirely negative. But I think people all around town need to start spot checking themselves who can afford to do that. Definitely the west side needs to be. And it seems to me the town needs to just begin to think about the future of providing safe water. I mean, the town is, in the long run, just gonna have to do that.
Yeah.
But it's very complicated.
There's another problem in that the landfill was designated as a polluting source, and we aren't being covered at all. In fact, if they do lower the level down to the lower level, we probably will have to put in more point of entry filters and be responsible for them. And that's always bothered me, that we did what the state told us to as far as the landfill. We
Exactly.
put it in, capped it the way they told us and everything, and now they're saying we are, the town of Shaftsbury is the polluter. And I think what the real story is if the state can't sue somebody, they aren't going to pay.
Right.
And they can't really go to Saint-Gobain because it was somebody's treated raincoat that was in there and did the leaching, so.
Yeah.
so, well,
But possibly for the rest
I think you're
of us.
absolutely right. I think maybe it may be the best thing to do is for both that pollution point and what's happening with Saint-Gobain is try to get as much of Shaftsbury covered in public water.
Yes.
Well, they just tested another test down by the landfill, right? It didn't come out with 25 parts per trillion or something. I think I read that in the paper.
It's,
By the,
I don't know what it is at the landfill, but I know that there are people like in Bayan, on Bayan Road, or whatever it's called there, that are, some of them have it over the 7, which means that they have the point of entry systems, but there are people that are below that, but they aren't down to 2. And so if they go down to 2, we're gonna have to, or 4,
yeah.
we're gonna be made responsible for putting systems in there, and the town has to pay for it, and pay for the upkeep, so.
Doesn't make sense. The state has to take some responsibility for this, and maybe the letter should go to somebody else, like the DOC too, not just the governor.
Yeah. I'm working with David Durfee to make sure it goes to the right people.
You know, they're the ones that drew the line everywhere. Oh, we're stopping Chapel Road. Well, oh, we'll test this house up here.
Yeah.
You know, and
no
don't tell
rhyme or
the 10
reason.
neighbors up north of you, or don't tell anybody. They didn't tell anybody. Very, very quiet, this whole thing. And
Yeah.
they're trying to keep it under the rug, and it's just not right.
Right.
It's just not right.
No, you're correct.
It's because they can't afford it.
Right.
They can afford it if they sue the right people.
Yeah.
The Attorney General, the lawsuit's already been settled for Saint-Gobain. No, it's not.
No, it's not.
You live
Yeah,
in
it's not a
Shaftsbury.
binding,
Yeah.
it's literally not.
Well, that's what she said.
She's
That's what
wrong.
she said at the meeting across the street a few
Really?
weeks ago, yes.
I mean, that
Yes,
litigation
and I
is.
said, well, I
yeah.
don't live in Bennington, I live in Shaftsbury, where everybody's wells where I live are contaminated.
When Charity Clark came, that's what she said?
Yes, yeah.
That's interesting to
Oh,
know.
yeah. It was in the banner,
Yeah.
yeah. I was the person that spoke up, I wasn't named.
Oh, well, I always get named, so lucky you.
No, well, they did name me eventually, so I'm gonna,
That's kind of interesting because I did read about that initial case and the settlement and whatever, and
Sure.
it doesn't preclude future settlements with other parties. It does not.
well, that's
so.
what David Silver is going to start. He is starting to do, like, hopefully.
A new class, yeah, a new
another
suit.
Class action lawsuit. I mean, there's 3,000 people in Bennington, over 3,000 that got checks. And the town of Bennington got 320-something million to extend water lines and the filtration systems. Well, we have to do this in Shaftsbury. We have to do it. Do we
Yeah.
even have a town
So-
attorney? I have no idea.
Yes,
we do.
Of course we
Okay.
And she knows
So-
about water.
Pardon me?
She's good about water stuff, so
Wow.
that's a good start.
Yep.
So one of the things to say about it is the town of Shaftesbury Select Board has to begin to consider
Yeah.
joining that lawsuit
That's right.
and the implications of that, et cetera.
There was an original lawsuit against DuPont, I think
That's still pending.
Is it really still?
Yes.
Okay, I
Yeah.
heard that nobody else could ever sue it.
And 3M. Yeah, I think it was 3M too, DuPont 3M. That supposedly a trial date's been set for that lawsuit for Bennington, or through the state of Vermont.
Yeah.
From Clark. But she said she'd look into suing Saint-Gobain again.
Yeah, because this is a different plaintiff class, so
Right.
it's a different lawsuit.
Yeah.
It's a different scenario.
You gotta start from scratch. you
Yeah.
know, And David Silver's gonna push some buttons, I know that. I mean, that's the kind of person he is. And I'm
Good.
so grateful that we went and harassed him a few times. Come on, David, you gotta do this.
Yeah.
I've already done it once.
Yeah. And he finally agreed, so.
quite an undertaking.
Just hopefully they can live long enough to see it, that's all.
New Hampshire's loaded with it.
The whole,
New Hampshire.
Whole
the
country.
state,
The
yeah.
whole country. Oh, we're,
Merrimack, New Hampshire.
Everywhere
we have
there's a
3,000
landfill,
pumps
every
and
town there's a
filtration
landfill is gonna have it.
systems.
I mean,
Right.
it's just-
yeah. And every place there's been
a factory
factory.
systems
Yes.
and
or.
it all depends on the airflow. And
that's right.
it's just-
This is a moment in which, just like, not to, but like, if anybody has tested their wells and has the results of their well testing, the town of Shaftsbury would love to be privy to that information. If you could send it to administrator@shaftsburyvt.gov. We are, the people who have tested, who we personally know of, we're trying to collect that information because in lieu of what we consider to be comprehensive testing of our region, which is lacking, obviously, as to this discussion, we're trying to do a little bit of the DIY. So if you or your neighbors test your wells, please, share the results with us. And maybe we can begin to create our own map that is, overlaid on the map that we received from the DOC.
I'm still waiting for their updated map as well.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what, 3
And
years
then
old
we
now?
can,
Yeah, it's
yeah, but we can
dated.
take your data as well and the houses that
Oh,
you've
yeah, I'm
done
gonna,
and make our own.
I'll
we
write
need
it
to
so you
make our
guys
own
can read it,
data.
but right now.
Yeah, because we're trying to figure that out too, especially in, areas where everybody said, oh, it's definitely fine, it's definitely fine. Then you're like, well, maybe it's not, and maybe it won't be in a decade, and maybe in 20 years.
Actually, the lab told me, I called them after my test came back, and I had some questions about my initial, after I drilled the well, I had some questions, and they said, where are you located? It's Lower East Road in Shaftsbury. Oh, you're not in an area of concern at all, for PFOA and PFAS. I said, oh, okay, that's great, thank you, thank you. She goes, you could bottle it. That's what she told me
The woman at the lab.
at the lab, because I didn't get an iron on my list, my initial feedback when I drilled the well. I sent all the test bottles up to the lab and got the results back in the mail, and I got great water, it's beautiful, everything was way below the EPA in an iron test. And I said, I know Furnace Brook, I mean, everything is orange, it's
Right.
very, very rusty. And so I
Right.
called her up, I called up the lab to ask some questions. And so the guy was out that day, but the guy that does the test was out. I go, it's a pretty simple test, isn't it? Isn't it like testing your pool water? And she said, yeah, but he's the one that does it. So he sent it out to a lab, another lab, and you'll get the results in the mail. And I did. And I said, now, I noticed there's no testing for PFOA or PFAS or anything like that. She goes, oh, we don't test for new wells, anything like that.
Yeah, it's like a specialized, because
They
when I
don't
started
test for
looking
any new
into
wells,
it, it's
even
like,
if it's in an area of, but she said, you're not in
Not
an area
in
of
one.
concern. Your water's great. And 3-4 months later, 5 months later, I'm following a water truck coming down my road, delivering water to a neighbor that I found out has very high levels of PFAS or PFOA
Yeah.
as well. And so I called Malika Vincent, and I talked to her last Friday, actually, and she said, oh, I'll set you up, I'll test you, okay. And I started knocking on doors on my street, nobody knew anything about it. One other neighbor has a POA system. Nobody knew anything about it. The state wasn't telling anybody. Up by you, I said, they finally, because
Yeah, I think my whole neighborhood knows and
Oh, yeah.
has- everyone has
Except for
code
one
systems.
house.
Yeah.
took almost 3 years to get a POA system, and they kept testing it, the numbers kept going up and up and up and up and up. And then I had them test my dug well. The well's 325 feet deep, brand new well, 240 feet of pipe, 27 grand. Took a 10-year loan to pay for it, and so I got, 7.5 years to go, 7 years, and then I had them test the dug well that I've been watering my garden with for 30 years. And that was 15 per foot on my dug well, too. Shallow well, 6 feet deep. So I've been watering it with twice a month. And we had another spring that clogged up. We didn't drink it, but we did cook with it and everything else. We just bought for 27 years. Anyway,
So the new drill bill, what's the level on the new well?
20 and 23. Yeah, you have to have 2 consecutive bad tests in a row for whatever reason to get a POET system.
But it's been rising.
Yes, it started at 13 and started going up, and then it went to 18 first, and I got water delivered right away. The state provided water for 3 years. They've been great. Very nice people to deal with. I talked to Malika Vincent, and they're not doing any testing this year, any new wells. And I said, what about next year? And she goes, well, you better talk to your reps, your legislature, and everybody else to see if we can appropriate more money for new testing. There's no money there supposedly, which is crazy.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm gonna put that in the letter. Now that I'm gonna be,
You
Of
know,
course, some of the money for that came to the state from the federal government,
yes.
and it
Yeah.
has now been cut from that direction. So people need to speak with their federal representatives as well.
Oh, I called Becca Ballot. She didn't want to know anything about it. So talk to your rep, your local rep. She did, Congresswoman didn't want to know.
People should keep
Really?
calling.
Yeah.
People
Okay.
should just keep calling.
I've had a few people up on East Road saying that they know Bernie very well. They're calling Bernie, so they're gonna, if we get him going, we'll be all, we'll
Yeah.
have everything going.
here's hoping.
Amazing, nice, everybody, super nice. One woman was not, but everybody, all the people we talked to, very nice, and they were super concerned about it. Some people do have charcoal or carbon filters just because they have it. But I mean, you gotta look at the future too. You wanna start building houses. You know, how you gonna do that? How you gonna do it? Yeah.
Where exactly are you?
Pardon me?
Where exactly are you located?
What area? Lower East Road.
Lower.
I'm 1,500 feet up from Chapel, stops. I live, all of us behind the Furnace Brook area, and I'm on the lower east part of it.
Near the river?
The brook runs right by me,
Yeah.
Furnace Brook. And there's 3 houses in a row, or 4 actually, that have POET systems now. And it's funny, the people across the street say they don't have it. I know that's not true. People just don't want to know, too.
Well, yeah, it's very scary to think about the fact that potentially you've been drinking something for 30, 40, 50 years that
Yeah.
is, that you're coming up
It's
on,
terrifying.
maybe necessarily, you
Well,
know.
The state's been so, and even local, I mean, a guy just bought the big house down the end of the road here for $600-something thousand. I said, you know, did you, and he bought it in the spring, and he's right by everybody else that's got it in their wells. I said, were you tested for it? Tested for what?
Yeah, the real estate agents are obviously not bringing it up, 'cause it's certainly not a selling point.
Yeah, yep.
But probably they
Mine did.
should be.
I
Yours
was well
did,
aware.
that's
Yeah,
good.
Mine did. I had the
That's
water
good.
test.
And
He's waiting for a test.
What's your level?
The highest it's been is 6, and the lowest was like 3.4.
Gotcha.
So I got a POET system anyway, just because.
Yeah, it is moving through the aquifer, so if you've got 50 here and 20 here, it's eventually gonna,
Right,
you know,
right.
it's gonna reach some equilibrium someday, you know, but, so it's definitely moving into new areas and will
Well,
continue to do that.
between Buck Hill and Glastonbury Road, there was one house that I know, most of the people weren't tested. It's
Yeah.
all random. One woman, she said her last test was 4. So she was kind of worried about that. And she's up there a ways, so.
It can be ran, I know that in the neighborhood right next to the plant, which is what, Royal Street?
Yes,
goes
yeah.
around. One of those houses in there
Oh, God.
did, you know, some of the houses in there were 2,200.
Yes. Yeah.
But one of the houses was 0 for a long time, they finally did. But they could tell they had a very deep well that was hitting an aquifer that was pre-1945. And they could tell that because the nuclear bomb, like there's isotopes in the water. So if you could get deep enough into that water, but eventually that water will eventually, and it has since they got all those negative tests, has since become contaminated.
I talked to the professors up at the college, and both of them said it's just a matter of time.
That's right.
It's just spreading.
Yeah, it's like oil on water, it's eventually just
Yeah.
gonna reach some equilibrium.
But it is lifetime, and it's never gonna go away.
Not Maryland.
But the blood testing, that's, to me, is so important for liability and things like that. I mean, I want to find out how much I have in my blood, I'd love to.
Yeah.
I know one individual just had a private test done, and I don't know what his results are. I don't think he's got them back yet, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But the town, sounds good, but you gotta push too.
Yeah, I'll get that, the right letter going. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
I'll read it. You can
Gotta
put it on
start
tomorrow,
naming
I'll read it
documents that drastically different things.
Do you want, just, you'll put it on the website tomorrow?
I can put it on the website tomorrow and email it to you guys.
And maybe if you have any comments, you could send an email to Paula if you have any like additional comments, since you've been doing all this door knocking. If there's anything that you feel like you got from boots on ground experience that isn't reflected within the text she's put together, I would certainly, if I were in your position, I would shoot an email and chime in and see, you know,
Sure.
because it's a collaborative process and it's the very beginning of a process that
Yeah.
is such a bummer and very important, and very scary. But thank you and your wife for all of this hard work, because you're doing
Oh,
that.
there's other people involved too. People in
Thank you.
Bennington are doing similar things right now, and I didn't put it on Facebook. I don't even have a computer. So she
God
put it
bless. I
on, put my
wish.
phone number on Facebook. I got a few calls, people asking questions. That's fine, that's great.
Yeah.
And any information I can give out to anybody sounds good.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
So I think that you're right, that there has been, I wouldn't call it an effort, but the extent to which this is not discussed on a regular basis in the news media and that this does not come up is definitely not, I don't want to say anything speculative that's negative, but it's not very good, is what I'll say about it.
Mark.
And it is odd.
Mark Rondo has been fantastic.
Mark has been covering
has been
it.
great.
Yeah.
He's
Yep.
been good. and
He's
we're
been
getting
all
to know
over
each
it.
other very well. As long as I buy him donuts, he's happy.
He's a very
And,
nice man.
Yeah.
But I know
And-
that, I
and a
know
good
that this needs
journalist,
more
yeah.
and more attention, because it will need more and more
He's
sort
on
of
vacation
pressure.
this week. He said he's going to investigate. I told him there's no more funding, supposedly, and for this year, and I'm not sure about next year. But I also asked Malika, I go, what about the maintenance that people already have, the poet system?
Yeah, how are they
Is
gonna
there-
pay for that if there's no money?
Is there money for that? I'm not sure. So, I mean, you know, the filters are $100 a piece. The infrared light is $1,000 a year. I don't know about the
Costly,
car-
yeah.
Yeah.
Very
yeah,
costly.
Very expensive. You know,
Yeah.
not counting if the state runs out and you have to do it, not counting the house call. Whoever's gonna come to your house and charge
Yep.
you a ridiculous
The
amount of
labor-
money
labor
to
rate.
change the big carbon filters, if they ever need changing.
Which
And
they will.
Eventually.
Yeah, it's all very important. Thank you for bringing this. I think that one of the big takeaways for me here, as somebody who, you know, is learning about this over the past couple of years and knows that it's been going on for like 50 years, is just that the more we're talking about it, the more light that's being shed on the scenario, the more that we're talking about this and sort of trying to get the word out, the more door knocking, the more asking people if they've had their well tested, the better. Because if people are organizing and if there's pressure behind this and there's more news media attention on this and people are emailing and they're calling their Congress people and their senators, and we're, you know, we've got Becca and we've got Peter and we've got Barney and then we've got all these other people, and if we just keep pressing, that's the only real way, because something has to happen. And it's going to be a big one. It's going to take a long time. And but I think everybody knows that.
I think David Silver would help the town too. He loves Shaftsbury, and any, you know, he'd be glad to give you guys any information at all, or any help at all.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
great to know.
Yeah.
I know he's a tremendous resource, yeah.
This has to be on our agenda going forward.
You mean like
I would suggest.
on every agenda?
No, that we need to put it on an agenda in the future to discuss our, possibly an executive session as well as in public session to discuss the legalities of our joining that lawsuit.
Oh, yeah, we should
What
ask our
else we can
attorney.
do.
Yeah, we should ask
Yeah.
the town's attorney.
Yes.
You know what Art said too, you know, the state said to do this, you know, do the seeding of the well and all this and all that, but now they're charging the Shaftsbury's got to pay for all the filtrations, and they do more before. It's gonna add.
Carry the weight of that when it's
We're all gonna
nobody
be-
here's fault, and that's deeply unfair. And that's the nature of when billionaires poison your water. So, and Saint Gobain is still liquid. They are a multi-billion-dollar organization. So there's that.
One question I had, and I don't know if it's changed, maybe that the sensitivity of the test back maybe 5 or 6 years ago when this was all breaking, was 20 parts per trillion. So the level that the EPA and I guess Vermont were respecting was the testing limit. So the error bars were always, like if you hit 20, you were
Right.
never really sure if you were 15 or 25.
Right.
So if you have if the limit gets set at 4, and the sensitivity of the test is still 20 parts per trillion,
Yeah.
then I don't know how that works, basically. You know, so, unless the test has become more sensitive in the interim, which may be
A
the
few
case.
years ago,
Probably
the
has.
EPA was 70 parts per trillion.
Right, yeah.
I was
And then
gonna say that was.
Lowered it to 4.
The
and
federal,
That's a
the
nationwide
Fed,
thing.
yeah, the
Yeah.
Fed limit was much higher, and Vermont had gone down,
Right.
yeah.
So I can just see them, I can see an opposing lawyer saying, well, you're setting a limit that we can't even test. So that's just one angle of this that I'm not clear on. And I guess we'll-
Richard Spees at the last meeting back in March in Bennington, basically said that they sent a letter out to St. Cobain to see what they could do to help alleviate the situation in Bennington. I don't know about Shaftsbury, that wasn't brought up yet. And I told him I live in Shaftsbury and I'm here to listen. And he said the markers for the acids of PFOA were consistent with the same, St. Cobain, ChemFab, which used to be where McDonald's is, or right next to that. They started that in 1962, so they started polluting a long time ago in Bennington.
Right. There's a site in Powell as well.
Yeah, and it's traveling now, right? They're checking more areas and more areas, and it's spreading a lot of places.
It's appearing, it was probably there at that time, but
Oh, sure.
it's gotten down into,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't think it got down 325 feet in a year or two at my house. I really
don't
don't
think
think
so.
so.
Okay.
All right.
Anyway, thank you, and
Thank
hopefully
you,
everybody's
Pete.
going to sign the letter when it's in, and
Yep, it'll
I'm
be
gonna, get
hot
on
off
the horn
the
and
presses.
start calling people.
Thank you
Yeah.
very much.
Thank you.
And many people as possible to come down.
And Mark watches all of our meetings, so hi, Mark.
Hi, Mark.
Thank you, Mark.
He's on vacation this week.
I know, but he's gonna watch it later.
Okay, you're a good guy.
All right, quick question. What time did this meeting start?
6.
Is there a reason? I was only admitted at 6:49. I'm not sure why.
Because if we don't recognize someone's name, we have people who have broken in and done kind of profane things on video, so we have to be careful. So our apologies, but Marlene just told me that you had been waiting, so I let you in.
Yeah, I'm a known commodity, but okay, thank you.
Okay, not to me you weren't, so I'm sorry.
What's that?
I said, not to me you weren't, but Marlene explained who you were, so my apologies.
Understood. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. So, great. That was review of PFAS letter to the state, or rather a discussion about PFOAs and the fact that there will be a letter posted on the town website tomorrow.
Yep.
And that it will perhaps, and maybe have a couple additions if we hear from anybody, any interested parties that reach out to Paula that have any additional information that would be useful. And then that we will have that letter here. Once we're at a point where, it looks good, maybe next Monday we will approve it from the select board angle, and then we will go ahead and have a copy here. Where would that be? Like,
Where would the letter be?
yeah, for signatures. this
I'll
sort of thing.
probably, well, I don't know if I'd put it up there, because people come in to, I'd probably put it on the table with a big sign, like PFAS letter.
So on the big table
Residents,
when you
on the big
walk
table.
in.
Okay, and so we would have several pages of signature space. And we will leave
Yeah.
it there until the end of December,
Mm-hmm.
and we will send it in the new year, and we will send it to Governor Scott, and we will also send it to anyone else.
Anyone else? Yep.
Yeah. Who might be relevant. So the
Absolutely.
Department of Conservation and perhaps other interested parties. Maybe we'll go ahead and send it to Bernie and Becca and Peter.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
All of them.
Sounds good.
Sure.
So kind of get it out to everybody. Okay.
Okay.
Great. That was item 10. So 11 is review of the municipal work product agreement. This is actually going to be kind of more of like a chat
Yeah.
and then circle back to review this. So each of you have, I believe, this thing here, it's a draft. So we won't be voting on this evening. I'll just open with that. This is the volunteer work product assignment and public records acknowledgement form. Basically what this is about the fact that municipal work product, which is sort of work that's done for the town. Should I talk, is it okay if I talk about this? Do you want to talk about this?
No, you're probably better off talking
Sure,
about
I'll
it.
talk about it. Let's talk about it. So like
It's
research
committee
and
work.
data and surveys, things that the committees do, spreadsheets that are put together, this sort of stuff, that all of this becomes town property and is handled as public record under Vermont state law. There's a statute listed in here with regards to the Vermont Public Records Act. And so this is sort of something that if anybody's going to do a big project that involves data collection or whatever, that they would sign this just to say that, you know, they don't own that information, that it's not proprietary, it's not intellectual property of their own, that it's, if you do the work for the town, it belongs to the town. But it doesn't preclude their right to use that work elsewhere.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
very much.
It just, you know, that they can still have it on their resume or in their portfolio or anything. That it just, the town is allowed to use it because they did it for the town, is the short way to describe it.
And this applies to the select board as well.
Yeah, to everybody who has.
Anybody who offers their expertise in any way.
So. So take a look at this over the next week or so, 2 weeks. So we'll have another meeting
On the 15th.
on the 15th. So we will hopefully have a version of this to approve on the 15th. So maybe send comments to Paula directly so that she can make them. And it can maybe be a little bit of a working document. And we'll get it figured out somehow. But this is just something to get out there. Just for clarity for anybody who does projects for the town going forward about who gets to use that information and how.
Intellectual property and all
Yeah. Okay. If there are no questions about that, the third hearing on the proposed fiscal year 27 budget.
Let me share my screen.
Paul will share the screen.
Okay, so. This, we also want to make sure to get on that camera.
Go to the top. All right. Move this over. Kind of hard to know where to put all the people. I gotta move everyone around. Okay, well, last we spoke, we were trying to get the budget down. And we started
Sorry
off.
to interrupt, quick sec. Is there a meeting on the 8th? Looks like it's on the website for the meeting on the 8th.
Yes.
That's a special select board meeting, not a regular one. So it's about, it has to do with something else, but they're both select board meetings, the 8th and the 15th.
And is the 8th, that one is open to the public?
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
you're welcome.
Sure.
So the first one, the first draft of this was at 17%, went down to 15, went down to 13. And last I emailed you, select board, the one with the 5% increase is at 11%, and the one with 3% increase for wages is at 10%. So we did get it down significantly,
yeah.
and boy, did we,
Yeah.
boy, did I.
Do you want to talk a little about how you achieved that?
Yeah, so what I did, I mean, here are the two tabs. This one's 3% and this one's the 5%. And nothing really changed that much except for the wages. But the last time I went through it, I looked at things like taking a closer look at the maintenance on the DPW trucks. And, you know, the reason this goes back to '24 is that gives us a good idea of what we've spent on each truck. And then trucks have changed. Some trucks don't exist anymore and we have new ones. Maybe not put so much maintenance in the brand new ones. And even if you shave $500 off of, you know, a couple of them. Also things like the constable wages were there. remember when Fran had to go to the transfer station? It was only like $1,300 or something. I just rolling the dice and having them at zero and seeing maybe we won't need them, right? And then things like the parks had two big expenses. One was for more maintenance, and then that mulch expense. Remember, Mike was like, we need to get mulch every year, because if they don't get it every year, it's every 5 years, and then it's a ton. So I just scaled that back. Maybe we don't need all that mulch
Just some
at
of
one
it,
time,
yeah.
or maybe if we get that nice chipper that we're hoping for, maybe the DPW can make some mulch, things like that. So I can go through each section and kind of where we ended up. The differences are very slight because I had to shave here and there, and it was maybe $500 here, $800 there, $1,000 there, just enough to kind of get it whittled down. The other thing that I'll just go through. Do you guys want me to go through in depth this time, or
Guys,
what do you think?
That's okay. To keep it topical.
to keep it topical?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I think basically what you're saying is that there's going to be like tons of tiny little places all throughout, as opposed to like something.
Yeah, it was
where
like death by paper cuts, but in a
Yeah.
good way.
and then it worked
Right.
pretty well. Yeah.
Right. Worked
So I'm
out
not
pretty well.
And
sure.
it seems reasonable. Those pieces seemed reasonable.
Yes, and I even went down, like Cole Hall, 82% down.
So I guess maybe, do you have anything else you'd like to chime in at this point in particular?
Not really. I'm kind of skimming through here, and it takes such a nuanced eye to look through it and just know certain things. Like if you look at the Planning Commission and the DRB, they both have lines for legals, but we tend to just charge one and not the other because it's just putting the things in the banner. So I tightened up that a little bit. Like we
Exactly,
don't need the
yeah.
same, the duplicate, that type of thing.
Finding some
Um,
efficiencies, like in getting rid of some places where
Exactly,
there's duplicative billing,
exactly.
and that we don't need to be budgeting
And
that way. in
Right,
particular.
I literally cut where I could. And again, the things driving up it a little bit are people needing extra hours because the job is demanding those hours. They're doing them anyway. They have to get the job done. The fire department, I went over this with Joe Vatican and Ed Schewel, fire warden. And one thing I want to pay close attention to down here, hold on, sorry for scrolling. It's the transfers, the reserve funds. So my main concern is the fire truck reserve fund. Joe and I are working to get, a new fire truck is coming in 2016. So we paid for the chassis
2020.
last year. What's that?
In what year is it coming?
2026, thank you.
Yeah.
2026, so we have most of it paid for, and we're trying to figure out what is the,
The Delta? Okay.
might be, and figure out what to do about that. But in the meantime, the next truck is gonna be like $1 million. Like, I would like to even up theirs, but I don't dare. I don't dare do that.
Well, if
Because
next year is a more standard year in which because if we get,
Yes.
if we're correctly staffed.
Yes.
And we're paying then next, God knows what will happen in life.
I know.
But
The hope is that-
ideally,
yeah.
the hope is that we've righted the ship in many ways, and then we would have places that we can add.
That's right.
That we didn't really
Then we didn't
feel
have.
comfortable doing this year.
That's right. That's right. So, all the things in green are the things that, and like down here, it was pretty cool that we got to put these at zero because when Mike asked for the money for these trucks, we specifically said it's gonna come out of the reserve. So we didn't have to, we know the payments are coming for the amortization schedule, but we could pluck them out of there because it's already covered in the reserve. The appropriations are not set in stone yet because I'm still collecting them. They're not due until Friday at 4 o'clock, and they're about maybe a handful that I have to go chase, but they've been coming in since I sent the email about 3 weeks ago, coming in steadily. So those aren't even set in stone yet.
And those are not things that we here at this table have control over.
Right, nor, I think only
The
one
voters.
asked
The
for more.
voters will decide,
That's
item
right.
by item, line
Yes,
by
right.
line.
Mhm. So I think it boils down to the raises.
Okay, so with that in mind, I guess what I would kind of, like to do is I would like to call for a motion to consider these two versions of the budget, keeping in mind that one version of the budget has employee raises at 3%, and one version of the budget has employee raises at 5%, which means one of them is an 11% increase, and the other one is 10. So I'd like to call for a motion to consider discussing those two different versions and deciding upon which one to go forward with.
So moved.
Don't we need a motion to actually do one or the other?
Well, I was just moving for us to discuss them both.
That would enable us to discuss it. But I think we have to be moving
Okay.
to,
I call for a motion to consider the budget that is at 5%, which results in a 11% increase.
Yeah,
So moved.
second.
What do you all think?
Yeah, I think, we've done a lot of work to get this down to where it is. If at the floor, it's voted down, we'll need to have an option right then and there, and so if you had one prepared for 5% and then maybe even a 4% and a 3%, so you can walk it down, it'll be happening right then and there.
It'll be more
There's not really
efficient.
time to go back and, produce a new budget so we need to have, so I think we can start with that 5% and have some options in our pocket should things go, in a direction we don't anticipate.
that's an interesting way to think about it. I mean, it really does
Yeah,
say, this is what we would like to see, but if the voters don't agree with us, they can lower it.
If we could have those numbers prepared, and then if those options fail, then we are.
this is what the budget looks like at this, and this is what it looks like at this. Yeah, I've done that before.
Have you?
Yeah, yeah.
I think that makes sense. I mean, coming before the town and having them take a look and say the budget is at 11% this year. It's higher than usual, but not astronomical. Once again, this is the portion that applies to your municipal tax rate, which is a percentage of your property tax bill, not the entirety. The larger portion is, once again, your state education tax. Sort of having a moment where we say, this one's 11%. Everyone's getting a 5% raise in here. And if we, what do you all think about that? And then if we do have the version, we already have the 3% version. And maybe we have a 4% version, because really that only takes it down about 1%. Can I see the other one?
Yep. And the revenues can be factored in to
10.79.
see the implication of the tax rate. Because yes, revenues are taxes coming in, but we also get that highway money, and we get
Mhm.
other monies in that offset that.
And so it's
10
not
or
as though it's just
11%.
10%. It's
Right.
more nuanced than that,
Right,
which I
it's
think is a
way
very
more
important thing
nuanced.
to bring up. It's
Yes.
not as though your taxes will be going up 10% because the budget is going up 10%.
Right.
I think that's important to note because the stuff is kind of complicated.
And that will all be clarified, definitely clear by town meeting with the,
Mhm.
as the grand list gets.
The new grand list, because we're going through this reassessment period. So it's a little trickier than usual even to determine what that municipal tax rate will look like. And so it's good that if we had the 5% version and the 3%, as you mentioned, and at that point we kind of know what the tax rate is.
Yeah, and one other thing to note is that, what we're seeing a big number, or what appears to be a big number, but, we're always so far behind, we're dealing with inflation now that happened 18 months ago.
That's
probably,
right.
So it's,
We were under budget in a lot.
Yeah, it's just the way this kind of works, the way our budgeting cycle is, you know, we're talking about fiscal year 2026, which will start in June or 27, which will start in June of 26. You know, so
Right.
it's tough to do, and it's numbers that look ugly today are the result of numbers that looked ugly, you know, 18 and 24 months ago.
It's a good way to look at it, yeah.
Yeah.
More holistic way to
Yeah.
kind of consider these things. Because it certainly is not that simple.
No.
It's shot in the dark.
And it's a tool. Keep in
Yeah.
mind, it's a tool.
Right.
There could be budget lines here that we don't even spend that.
And then there could be
It's just
budget
a
lines
tool.
that we didn't even anticipate coming.
That's right.
That's right.
As there are every
As
year.
is true in every
Yes.
budget that has ever been made by
Yes.
anybody.
Right.
So,
Indeed.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good time.
It's crazy budget time is all.
it's complicated.
I agree.
Yeah,
But,
yes, thank you.
So
Wholeheartedly.
you want to call the vote?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think I'd like to ask for a vote on bringing forth the 5%, so the budget that involves an 11% increase over the last year, which includes that 5% raise for the employees of the town. I'd like to call for a vote on that.
Aye.
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 All right, so that's 5 in favor, so this is the budget that shall go forth.
Okay?
With the, community appropriations might change if,
Yeah.
yeah, but that's not,
Not
here,
significant.
Yeah, not
neither here nor
significant.
there for this board, because that is voted on item by item by the town of
Right.
Shaftsbury citizens. Okay, and thus concludes our third hearing on proposed fiscal year 2027 budget.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, this was a big one, man. I mean, it's just a hard,
Yeah, when that
Yeah.
first
For a
17%
million
comes in and
reasons.
you just think, well, that is not okay.
That's not- yeah, I was like,
So
no.
let's see
How
what
about
we
no?
can do and what we can't do.
and when you look at the increases in the things that we have no control over, it's
Right.
just phenomenally upsetting.
I mean, in the healthcare landscape, which I know everybody is so aware of, and yeah,
And now it's good that we changed, because if you recall, if we stayed with Blue Cross Blue Shield, it would have gone up 24%, and we changed to MVP, because then it only went up 10%.
and the fact that it even went up 10%,
And
these
now
are wild
we-
times.
Yes, like, I mean,
This is another
It's-
example of, yeah,
highway robbery,
the big
Sorry,
boys
did I say
kicking
that
us
out loud?
around.
extortion.
All right, so in other business, I have one thing, which is that I received a citizen complaint about, no, it's okay, it's okay.
Uh-oh, what did we do
No,
wrong?
it's something that could, who knows why. So I received a complaint that this past Saturday at around 3:48 p.m., somebody tried to go to the transfer station to drop off their trash and recyclables, and the transfer station gates were already closed. There were 3 or 4 cars behind them in line to drop off their trash and recyclables. And so, who knows why they were closing up a little early that day. Perhaps the trash was full. I don't know. It was a holiday week. But this is something for us to sort of be thinking on and check in with the staff there about letting them know that those gates need to be closing at the end of business, which is at 4. Unless there's some extenuating circumstance, in which case obviously we all understand. But this citizen also let me know this was not the first time that this had taken place, that he had had this experience. So just something for us to maybe check in with them about, and to kind of keep in mind. And if it's that, okay, well, the gates close at 4 and now we need to work an additional 30 minutes, that's just fine.
That's just how it has to happen.
And so just sort of touching base about that, because,
And budgeting for that.
and budgeting. But yes,
We would just budget for that.
just wanted to bring it up as it was brought to me. And I don't think I have any other announcements or, other business.
Any other?
No.
Should we just make sure there wasn't an issue with him? I was hoping to bring up under public comments.
Oh, that's a good point.
Sir, since you were not in there earlier because we were remiss in letting you in, sorry about that again. Do you have any public comments for us? Just checking in. Because you weren't in here during the public comments section.
Mr. Chawla?
Yep, sorry, I had you guys on mute. No, I don't, I just wanted to listen, really.
Okay, awesome. Well, sorry
Excellent.
about that again, and we will make sure that we know
Now we
your
know you.
name. Yeah.
Now we know you.
Now we know
your name.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, it was a big problem last year. It happened, several
was-
things that were very, very
Yeah.
scandalous.
Very X-rated.
Yeah,
Yes.
so now we're
You're kidding
living,
me.
No.
now we're living in
no.
fear.
It's the same guy.
We clutched our pearls.
He looks familiar. Yeah.
Have some self-respect, people.
That's right.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
really something else. So then we went on high alert.
High alert, right.
Yeah,
But-
but, yeah, thank you for
Yeah.
Thank you for bearing
texting
with us.
Marlene,
Yeah.
and,
Yeah, no worries, no worries. I'm glad it was something simple. Thank you.
Thank you.
look forward to seeing you again.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. That's the feeling is mutual. Thank you so much.
Okay,
All right,
good. Thank you.
Okay, so now, review of action items. We're gonna touch base with the transfer station.
Yes.
Our transfer station friends. Um,
I'm gonna get the right letter.
we're gonna get the right letter for the PFOA, and it's gonna be posted on the website tomorrow. We're gonna take some feedback from maybe from, the gentleman who's here this evening, if he has anything for you, because he might have some data.
Oh, yeah, he
that
comes
would-
in at least once
Yeah.
a week and we chat.
Yeah, then
Good.
maybe he can workshop it with you if there's
Yep.
anything that anyway.
Yep.
And then we'll get that out for signing. We, as a select board, will take a look at it next Monday. And then it will be.
Sign it.
And we'll sign it, and then it will be
Having
here
submitted,
at Cole
we will
Hall.
all, this is just an action item for the select board ourselves. We have to remember to read it and reply to
Yeah.
Paula
That's
Paula.
right.
before next Monday so that we have a chance she has a chance to incorporate anything we suggest so we can sign it on Monday night. Sorry to interrupt.
Nope, you're all good. And then it will live here until the end of December, on this big table. And then as for the work product agreement, we're gonna return to that on the 15th,
Right.
I think.
Look at
so
the
that we-
draft.
Yeah,
and-
so that we are
and the
focused
language.
on, so take a look at that over the next 2 weeks. I can send a reminder about that. And I think I actually made a couple of minor changes already to this document,
Mhm,
so
you
maybe
did.
I'll find that and
Yep.
distribute that.
Good, I'll find
Yeah.
that one too.
So those are, I think, the action items that come to mind for me. Does anybody have anything else?
No.
Okay. So we're gonna move now into an executive session with regards to personnel. But it's just a discussion, so we will not be, taking any action following the
Right.
executive session.
Yep.
So.
We
so
need to
will-
phone Brad in.
Yeah, we gotta get Brad in there somehow. Well,
I'll phone you, Brad. How's that? Put you on speaker.
great.
Okay.
So I'm gonna pause the recording and put everything on mute.
Yes.
And you're free to pack up and go because we won't be.
Yeah,
We
because
won't
we
be
won't
back.
be back on discussing anything. We're just gonna come in and adjourn the meeting whenever we're finished with that chat, which will take place in executive session in Paula's office.
Recording stopped.
One of my XLR cables for the audio broke on me, and it right here deafened me.